Mickey Talks.
Well, if it's not episode 30, what?
Number 38 today. Man.
38?
Yes,
I
sir.
screwed up. I put 36, I think.
38, man.
I got to fix that. I put 36.
Yeah,
I screwed. I'll fix
I
that.
need to fix that.
I do, and I'm getting right into it, man. I'm not even talking to
Let's
you.
do
I
it.
don't care today. I care about one
I'm
thing.
going to talk to you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you,
The greatest voice in Baltimore radio history, the most beautiful face in Baltimore radio history. Not that is the nicest saying, but I love this lady so much. And I'm going to start this story by telling you, Matt, I'm 13 years old. I walk into Maxwell's Teen Night in Parkville, and it was my first time in this place, and it's 700 teenagers crammed into this place. And I forget, it might have been the Ravens were playing, the band, and I hear this voice on stage. And I'm like, I know that voice. And then she asked a question to the crowd, and I got it right. And you brought me on stage, and then she sang me a song.
Wow.
She sang me Janis Joplin,
Do you remember this, Sarah?
Mercedes-Benz. Do you remember this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's how I met
Wow.
the queen of rock and roll, ladies and
So
gentlemen,
cute.
Sarah
cute is
Fleischer.
that?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo!
Sarah, first of all, what year did you
And
retire?
you've loved my ass ever since.
Ever since, woman. Ever since. As a 13-year-old, you listen, I've said it on the, you kick-started my, what is that called? Puberty. You kick-started my puberty,
All right.
and it's been raging ever since.
I'll take it. I'll own that.
Sarah, listen, you are to me, you are 98 Rock to me. That's the truth. I've said it 1,000 times.
Well, she put the station on the air, didn't you, Sarah?
I was one of the first.
Yeah,
I was an
yeah.
original.
Yeah.
So
You know,
back,
overnights.
yeah, you were the original. You were on the original staff, right?
1977, baby.
Think about that, man.
That's so cool.
March
I love that.
27th, 1977.
Yeah.
That is amazing, and not many people in radio
Pinch
get.
me.
Yeah, not many
Yeah.
people get to say this. You're inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Who, and it's Sarah Fleischer.
I know it's incredible. Do you ever think about that, Sarah? Does
Well,
it
you
just
know,
blow you away
right.
sometimes?
I have to tell you
Yeah.
that was a revolving exhibit.
I get it.
Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
So if you go there looking for me,
Right.
and some people have,
Right.
I'm not there anymore.
Right. But the point is, you are a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And we're inducted, right?
And
You were
we're
officially
inducted.
inducted.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're
I
a
was,
member
yeah.
of the Rock and
I
Roll
was,
Hall of Fame.
yeah.
Whether or not you're on display or not doesn't matter. That you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I was next to Alan Freed,
wow.
who coined the phrase rock and roll,
Yeah.
right? And Wolfman Jack.
Oh my God.
Alan Freed.
That is incredible.
Jack.
Yeah.
By the way,
Wolfman Jack.
there's only one of those three that I would have slept with.
Wolfman
Really?
Jack.
Wolfman Jack all the way. Sarah, I could talk to you, but I want to start from the beginning. So let's see how good my memory is. Did you go to Temple?
You have a great memory. Yes.
Temple in
Yes.
Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you got right into radio, didn't you?
So I actually went to UMBC for
Right,
2 years.
right.
And my last 2 years were at Temple in Philly. I wanted to be an actress.
Is that right?
So I was studying acting, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I took one communications course, and I was in the class with
Right.
500 people, and I
Right.
said, "This is not for me." So I was in actually a professional show while I was in Philly, going to school, and my goal was to be, at center stage, or
Broadway, eventually, whatever. You wanted to be a theater actor.
not musicals.
Right.
Yeah.
Drama. You were a
I
drama
really can't
major.
sing. I'd love to be able to sing,
Me-
but
You sang good to me that night,
I
though, when you
did.
did.
I did. Well, certain songs I can sing.
I still hear it, baby. I still hear it. Don't get me wrong.
But it didn't happen immediately.
But
it was a long way around. Really.
How did radio come into play?
Okay, so graduated from Temple. I wound up actually. I auditioned for center stage. I was one of 25
Wow.
called back for a fellowship out of a couple hundred, and I was so full of myself back then.
Well, we all were at that
It was
age.
like, oh, it's meant to be. I got this, Mom, Dad.
Gotta
I
have that
got
confidence.
this.
You gotta have that confidence.
Went back and auditioned again for Peter Coleman, who was the
right.
director at the time, on North Avenue in
Wow.
his little office, and I'm like, I got this.
Right.
You know, I was good.
And you were smoking hot too.
was
That helped.
Good. You know, didn't get it.
No.
Didn't get it. And then I went to Arena Players in DC. Anyway, my dad, big work ethic. You
Sure.
know, and he just said to me, listen, you got to find work.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you got to find a job. So I went into retail, and I did that for about a year and a half. I worked at Hex.
Did you really?
Yes.
The queen
The
of
Heck
rock and
Company.
roll worked at a
It
heck
was so
company.
embarrassing.
Oh man,
Oh, my
I'd
God.
kill for that job right now. Are you kidding? Right? Did they pay you? Then I'd kill for
Not
that
really.
job.
I mean, it was a killer.
I
'cause
gotcha,
I was
I
on
gotcha.
executive payroll,
Right.
and you know, I worked like 75 hours a week.
Oh
My boyfriend said, "Forget about it. I never see you." You know, I didn't have a life,
wow.
and I did that for about a year and a half, and decided, you know, they wanted to make me. I was a group manager. They wanted to make me an assistant buyer, and I just realized it wasn't for me. You know,
Right.
this is not the life that I want. This is not fulfilling me.
Right.
And I kind of, you know, floundered around, and I quit my job. My father disowned me seriously for like 6 months. He wouldn't
No
talk to me.
kidding.
Wow.
You embarrassed me. He said, you
Wow.
embarrassed me.
Were you raised strict, Sarah? Was it a strict house?
Not really, but my dad was very, you know, like I said,
Stoic, old school kind of man.
very old school.
Yeah.
And we didn't see him a lot because he worked all the time.
What did your dad
You know,
do?
he was an accountant, CPA.
Wow, no
CPA,
kidding.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
you
he
know,
didn't get the whole performer thing, I guess, or did he?
not at no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not
the
at all.
arts were just
Oh,
something
not
he
at
looked
all.
at.
No,
It
like,
didn't,
it was a
right.
game, you know,
Yeah,
it was
of
fun
course.
and games. So, you know, I did the retail thing really just please him, you know, not myself, and realized this is not my life. I can't do it. So I waitress because I knew how to waitress because that got me
Sure.
through school, and I'd done it since I was 16. Hojo's, my first job.
Hojo's, not the one in Towson, was it?
Pikesville.
Oh, Pikesville. Right. Got it.
Remember those fry
I
clams? They
get
were
it.
so
I
good.
get it. I get it. Yeah.
Every night I'd have a piece of pie.
Yeah.
A la mode. That was my treat.
Now, I'm not, this is in the mid 70s, I'm guessing, you know.
So not quite.
So it's early
so I-
70s.
Yeah, I graduated in 69.
Wow.
Graduated high school.
See, I'm doing the math right now
yeah,
and
that's
looking at
okay.
you, but
You
it's
know what?
unbelievable, Sarah.
I'm very proud.
How can you
You know.
not be? If you were 50 years old, you'd look stunning right now. It's
Thank you.
incredible, sweetheart. I
Thank you.
mean,
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
How much has happiness played into that,
A
you
lot.
think?
A lot.
It re-
And
you-
peace of mind, and just, you know, it takes a while sometimes to really find your voice
Sarah's
and
very
yourself.
active as well. Too,
Well,
right?
Oh, I
yes,
am.
yes.
I'm very
Yeah.
active.
You always have
always
been.
have been.
Yeah.
You know, my mother would say, you know, you're always running around.
Yeah.
You always have something to do. But
Who came to you and said you'd be good on the radio? How did
So-
we get here?
so nobody did.
Wow.
But while I was floundering and
Sure.
waiting on tables and trying to figure out my life, I'm listening more and more to the radio because I have time now.
Now, is this FM? Yeah.
Yes.
So FM was a new thing for people listening.
WAYE.
Wow.
Marty McLean.
AYE.
She was so cool.
Oh,
this
She
was
a
a
female.
daytimer.
Yeah. So is that who
Yeah.
inspired you?
This is, you know, Chris Emery worked there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She
So
was my
that lady
inspiration.
was your
She
inspiration.
was. And I met her years later. Do you remember Roz, the sales
Of
person?
course. I
Yes.
love Roz.
What was her last name? Seaball?
Seaball. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And they were friends. And she
Wow.
arranged a luncheon. And I got to
Now, did
meet
she know
Marty.
who you were by this point?
Not really. I
So
don't-
she didn't even
had
know the
moved-
backstory,
no, she
right?
had moved. I think she was living in Jersey
Right.
or Pennsylvania.
Wow.
But, you know, Roz was kind enough to
Wow.
put us all together, and I got to tell her, you know, you.
Was she kind to you?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. I
See,
said,
women are
"You were
different.
it." Yeah.
When
yeah.
most women.
Well, there were few of us.
Right.
at
That's the
time,
thing, especially
you know?
in radio. Yeah.
And I think so. Anyway, she was my inspiration, and I had a lot of friends in the restaurant business. And one night we're all sitting at the bar. I wasn't. I didn't work at this restaurant, but a lot of my friends were there.
Sure.
And my one friend turned to me and she said, "Stop talking about it and get off your ass and do something about it."
Really?
Yeah,
it was that
because-
simple.
Well, she was the first person to say that to me, to give
Yeah.
me the confidence.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're talking about it.
Didn't anybody ever say to you that voice? Did they compliment
No.
your voice?
No.
Did they
Really?
mock it?
No.
Were you
no.
mocked for it?
No. I mean, I did a lot of theater.
Right.
you know,
But
in
I mean,
high
no one
school
ever
and-
was like, your voice is sexy
No.
or like boys didn't love your voice, that kind of thing.
No.
Jesus.
So
what the
I
hell
didn't-
was wrong with those men?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You had no
I
idea.
really didn't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, that
Your
that
voice was meant.
that I could be something. You know,
Yeah.
it could be my instrument. It could be the key.
So what did you do? See an
So-
ad? How did you get on the air?
So no, I started going around to radio stations and knocking on their doors.
Are
and
you
saying-
serious?
I did. And I said, you know, basically I have, you know, CAO, and I ended up at LIF. I said, I have sales experience, but I want to be on the air. And they all said, no can do.
Yeah,
You know,
women
we
aren't on radio,
We
right.
might be able to give you a sales job.
Yeah.
So finally, LIF did hire, well, they didn't hire me. They said over the phone that, you know, this sounds great and you just need to come in. And
Yeah.
we need to talk
Called
about
your
it.
dad and said, "Can I come home? I got a job."
Well, exactly. and I get there and there's no job. They'd already filled it with a guy. I think they got cold feet about hiring a woman.
Huh.
So
What
I ended up-
What this fast? What year are we talking? 71?
no,
2,
because
3?
I graduated from the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland in 1976.
Wow.
So this was like 74.
I also graduated from there. You know, Howard's Robin Quivers.
Yeah.
Howard
Yes,
Smith, Robin Quivers
yeah.
went
Yeah.
there as well.
And Colleen
And
Carew.
Colleen Carew.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of people did actually went to
Yeah.
BIM,
Right.
and I was not one of them. Clearly, I didn't learn anything. But Sarah, so 77, was Chuck Ducote the first program?
No,
Who was the
Denise
first?
Oliver.
That's right.
Remember?
I do now.
She hired me, baby.
Wow.
I mean,
was she supportive?
she was fabulous.
So she got it. She knew
She got
having a
it.
chick on the air was a
And
cool thing.
My first job was at WMAR FM 106. Beautiful music.
Wow.
All
No
the
kidding.
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how you started radio.
Yeah, and she did too. She started in beautiful music. So, you know, we were talking and she was, I mean, I tried really hard to get that job. I
Yeah.
was working at WMAR.
But in those years, you
FM
were
on the
serious, right?
weekends.
You were like, this was what you wanted. You were
Yes,
into it.
yes.
That's amazing.
So I
Sarah,
worked
I'm curious
weekends.
though. What format were you after in those days? What were you listening to? Were you listening to rock and roll?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah, I was. But you know, you take anything.
Sure.
So I'm at the Broadcasting Institute. I found my way there finally.
Sure.
John Jeppe was like
Yeah.
a dad
Wow.
to me.
Yeah. Haven't heard
God,
that name. in-
God rest
right.
his soul.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he believed in me.
I've heard a lot of people talk
Like
about
my
him.
father should have believed in me.
Well,
you know,
all of us.
but,
Right.
right. You know, but
yeah.
he became like a real father figure to me. And he's like, you can do this. And at first I thought, well, maybe I'll go into TV, you know? So
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of ignored the radio stuff and, you know,
Pursued TV.
and he was like, yes, let's do this. Cause they taught you about TV too. But a radio gig came about, you know, was open at WMAR. They sent me over there for an audition and I got the job. I mean, I was the first woman
Wow.
to be hired
No
at
kidding.
WMAR
Wow.
FM 106.
That's
Beautiful
incredible.
music all the time.
Yeah.
It's amazing, Sarah.
Yeah.
And then within a year, you end up
So
at this
within
new
a year,
format, right?
Within a year, meanwhile, I'm working it and I'm learning, but I'm hearing through the grapevine because you know how it is.
Sure.
Once you get into the business, it's a very closed industry. You
Very.
learn about maybe a job opening, and I'd heard that WBAL's FM, which I guess at the time was a classical music station.
Classical
Yes.
music?
Isn't that
Yes.
crazy to think
And
about?
then it
Nick?
was all news. And
Wow.
and so I think it was all news changing to a rock station. I'm like, oh, a rock station.
Yeah.
How
Perfect.
cool is this?
Right.
Yeah.
So for a month, I kid you not, I would send in my resume, I would call. And the problem
Who was the program director
well,
then?
so Denise
There-
was hired later.
Got
And
it.
that was the problem. They hired someone, a gentleman.
Yeah.
He didn't last. It hadn't gone on the air yet.
That's the problem
You
with
know.
men when it comes to women. They never last.
That's right. Mine does, though.
That's why she's the queen of rock and roll right there. So, but no, so you, a man hired you, right?
No.
No, it was a woman.
Denise Oliver.
When she got there,
Yes.
she got it.
So she gets there, and I'm still bugging everybody.
Right.
And she gets word of Me.
You.
She she actually listened to my tape. And so when I called, I got to talk to her, and she said, you know what? I've pretty much made up my mind. I've hired everybody for this brand new station, this brand new staff that I
Yeah.
put together. But you sound interesting. And why don't you come over? Let's talk.
Wow.
And so I don't know who the other person was,
Yeah.
but I got the gig. And
Howard Stern.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
You know, she ended up going over to
Yeah,
DC
I
101.
know she went to
Yeah.
DC
Working with
101.
Howard.
Yeah, I
Yep.
know that.
Yep.
That's so funny.
So you start in 1977. So let me
Yeah.
put this in perspective for the listener or viewer. You're say late 20s, 1977. It's a new format. FM rock was not something that had been tested majorly in the radio.
No, and actually BAL thought it was a joke.
Right. They laughed at you
They
guys,
laughed
right?
at us.
Yeah.
Wow. Is
For
that
not-
right?
For
Oh,
9
yeah.
years,
For
we were in a
No
closet.
Right.
kidding.
Yeah.
We
I
were
know
in
all
a-
those
in a
stories.
closet.
We were always the stepchild
The
over there.
stepchild.
weren't
Yeah.
we?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, I love that part. That's why me and Ron Smith got along so well.
Yeah.
He used to call me his little non-drug taking drug addict friend. He'd go, you have all the mentality of a drug addict like the rest of them over there, but you don't do drugs.
Oh, I loved Ron.
Ron was the best. But Sarah, so 1977, this stuff comes on. Now, at the time, disco's running the world, right? Musically.
Yeah.
Was the station well received immediately by the kids? Did the kids tune right in? Because that's usually the way it went in the beginning.
Yes, it was a young demographic.
And
Yeah.
were you guys right away like doing concerts? Like, was it a public?
No, I mean, not right away.
Yeah.
I mean, it evolved.
Yeah.
You
Sarah,
know, we had no money. We had no budget.
Right. You had nothing.
Who was the lineup then? The original lineup with you?
Do you remember who was?
Okay,
were you
so
doing
let's see.
middays?
No, I was green.
Oh, so
I
you
was
were
the green
overnight,
girl. You know, I was the
You started
youngest
overnights,
as
right?
far as
midnight to 6.
I mean,
one of those?
I had 1 year experience in beautiful music, and
Yeah.
I'm playing with
Yeah.
you know all these guys that have been in radio for at least 10
Yeah.
years.
Hey, Bill Chucklehead here, Sarah. I've been on I used to work at W Bend down in Indianapolis. You're going to have to move your sweet cakes out of the way. I got my Led Zeppelin crate here. I'm getting ready to play. Now, in them days,
That's kind of it.
were you guys playing whatever you wanted?
No, not really.
No, it's
But there
always
was room
been,
for cheating.
there was, right?
You know, especially overnights.
Yeah, especially if you had to
for
go to the
sure.
bathroom.
And that too, Peter Frampton, 14 minutes, 15 seconds, baby. Do you feel like we do?
In a
I gotta
gala
do.
Davida, baby.
That's another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the long version.
Right.
That was good. Yeah.
So you start playing this stuff, and then how long were you at 98 Rock before it dawned on you, wow, this is not only is it working, people like me. When did you feel comfortable in your own skin, what you were doing at the station?
You know, Alan Cordiff,
Oh,
who saved me the first night because I was shaking so badly. I was just,
Yeah.
I was a bundle of nerves.
And you're in there with an engineer at this time too, aren't you? Or are you by yourself?
No, that was just for production.
Oh, it was.
By
Okay.
your- by
Sorry.
yourself.
Okay.
yeah, on
And-
air it was all you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this board that looks like a spaceship to me.
Right.
You know, and I did tell Denise Oliver, I'm good. I'm good. I went to the Broadcasting Institute of Maryland. I know what
I
to
know
do.
everything.
But but you know, it was so different. Everything was so different.
Had you met your husband yet? Like, were you engaged or married at this point?
No, let's see. I met Bob. Let me think. So we were married. I met him shortly after, I'll tell you that. Well, the station started in March. I met him in September,
Wow.
and we were married a year later.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, was Dad talking to you at this point when you got a job? Your dad?
He was very proud of his daughter.
Right.
Yes.
Is that right? So
And my mother would listen every day. She'd say, "I'm just checking on you. I want to make
Oh.
sure you're there, but I can't stand the music, Sarah." You know, so
That was my grandmother when
Yeah.
I first got my gig at Night
Yeah,
Rock.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Mom wasn't into Stranglehold by Ted Nugent.
why not? Come on, Mom. So cool.
So, Sarah, when you start a gig like that, I mean, you're a lone female we all know the truth about radio guys in that industry back then.
Yeah, who was the lineup?
Do you
Oh,
remember?
we get back to that.
Yeah.
All right. So Bob Slavin did
Wow.
mornings. He was from Boston.
Okay.
Ty Ford did.
Ty.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
did
okay.
middays.
Wow.
Now, let me think about
Was
this.
Tony
Tony
Coulter
was
there?
Tony there yet?
No, he was not an original.
What? And Chuck wasn't there yet.
Chuck was not. They hired Chuck like 2 years later. Oh, Denise Oliver did.
Oh, right.
yeah.
She did Afternoon Drive.
Wow. And then who was before
And then,
you at night?
okay, so Alan Cordiff.
Alan.
That's so
And
cool.
Alan, held
Yeah.
my hand the first night. When my
Yeah.
shift was over, he looked at me and he said, "You're probably going to be fired in the morning."
Did he really?
Oh yeah,
Oh
was
my
it,
God.
Was it bad?
it was
What?
bad.
Now, was it
It was
bad
bad.
on mic or like you're missing songs,
Oh, it was
scratching
everything.
records?
I mean, he tried to help me. I was just so nervous.
Right. But Denise gave you a break?
She did. She said, "I'll tell you what, I really like you. I think you have a lot of potential,
Yeah.
and I'm going to give you 2 weeks, and you better shape up."
And you did.
And I did.
Sarah, do you still have that demo tape from that evening, your first night on air?
No.
You don't have it?
Dang it.
I would kill to hear
I
that.
would too.
Wouldn't you love to hear it, though?
I don't think we did tapes back then.
Right
Yeah.
now.
But I know my
They had a guy
program
outside
director
with a
was
rock
listening.
that would sketch
Right,
it into
yeah. That came later. The demos.
Yeah.
When did you I'm going to ask you a real broad question. So you were there for all of it. What year did you retire? 10, 12?
No, 2015.
15. Oh, right. After I left. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You didn't come to my party.
I know. I didn't go anywhere in those days. But let me ask you a question. In your opinion, who do you think was the guy that really painted that station to be what it became? Who do you give the credit to the most?
Russ Motler.
Sarah, I
mean,
say it
he
and no one
was
agrees with
so
me.
Incredible.
Russ was
I
so
agree with you 100%.
brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
far ahead of his time.
He was a visionary.
Absolutely.
And
What he saw in me at 19 years old, I have no idea. But you remember,
he kept me
and
because
yeah.
he got rid of a lot of
I
people.
know he did.
He looked at me, he goes, "And you stay."
yeah, he loved you. I mean, Russ and I spent many, many
And
hours.
he was young then too, wasn't he?
He was
Yeah.
28
Yeah.
when he got that gig, 27 or 28. And he had just come, I believe, from Santa Monica.
Yes.
And he had like this cushy, awesome, beautiful gig. I think it might have even have been the earliest days of like what we would call alternative radio.
Yeah.
And when he came to 98 Rock, he just looked, he fell in love with the city, the people, and he just had this idea of putting it all on the line. Like, who cares?
he
If you
did.
mess up, who cares?
And it wasn't like, his philosophy was there's all these other radio stations out there,
Yep.
but, you're a warrior and just focus on what we're doing. Don't worry about.
And he
and
destroyed
don't
everybody.
React. Don't react
Right.
to the other stations.
Well, he turned me on to the Book of Five Rings.
Yeah,
and I
man.
think that was his philosophy
Yeah.
back in that
Okay.
day, right?
He also,
Yeah.
Russ, I believe, Sarah, and you would be the best to comment on this. He also believed in people's talents, and he didn't like messing with them. He would say,
Right.
don't do this, but do whatever you want.
Yes.
Just don't do these 5 things.
Exactly.
And then I don't care
He
what
let
you do.
go. Yeah.
He let you do your thing.
And our meetings were so
They were
innovative.
fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Weren't they fun?
They were
I mean,
incredible.
they involved some alcohol
Yeah,
sometimes.
of course. Yeah. But we had a blast.
We had a great time.
And I wasn't even an employee. I just used to come as like a consultant and hang it. I didn't consult anybody. I just made everybody laugh and felt like I belonged. It was so much fun.
If you had an idea, it went on the board.
Absolutely.
It didn't matter
Whether
how
it
crazy
stayed
it
on- right.
was or
Yep.
unrealistic. It went on the board, and I just loved him for that.
To me, if Russ Motler ran every media company in the world, I'd work anywhere on the planet. That's
Yeah.
a fact. I'm so glad you said that.
Well, and he knew how to treat his people.
Absolutely.
Everybody was important.
Yep.
Everybody.
No, I
now,
totally
I will
agree.
say, I think Dave Hill was a bit of a visionary.
Dave
as
Hill,
well.
it's funny. When I look back on Dave, I don't think I appreciated Dave in the moment.
I didn't either.
And when I look back, it's very Russ-esque, though. It's different styles, but it was sort of this free form of talent where you trusted who you hired, and then you kind of let them go, and then you updated them along the way.
Well, Dave was very open to ideas as well.
Dave
You could
loved
approach him
ideas.
with an
He
idea,
was.
and he
Yeah,
would take
he
you
was.
seriously.
Yes.
And you know who I loved at that station, and God rest her soul, was Lori. Because Lori, people don't realize this, and I don't want to stay too long in the 98 Rock world because I want to talk more to Sarah. But since we mentioned it, Lori and Steve Huber,
Yes.
in my eyes,
Yes.
we'd come up with these ideas, and then they'd pull them off. Like sometimes I would say things, go, well, there's no way we could do this. Right? Like the toilet bowl is a prime example of an event that Lori and Steve, well, really, Kimmy Stu came up with the idea. And then we formulated and then they took it and it made it this epic thing for like 5 years. And that was all the promotions department.
Right.
I mean, that station from Russ on, it just was phenomenal. I loved it. You know, I don't know what it's like now. You know, I guess it's a little different. It's, you know, you got the Ravens and the Orioles. It's got to be a little
radio,
more.
You know, radio's just become.
Are you
very
glad you're out?
You know, I have little twinges here and there where I miss it.
Well, you're always welcome here, my lady.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The drive here was like white knuckle. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot. But well,
yeah, I love. Listen, I could listen.
97 to 97 to 695 to 295 to 95 through the Fort McHenry.
You better play 095 in the lottery tonight.
I better, right?
Yeah, I'd play all those 95s. When you know now, Sarah, you're such an iconic Baltimore figure.
Thanks,
that's the truth. I mean, that's not me saying anything that's not true. Do you know, do you have a grip on like what you were to the town and for how long? Does it dawn on you that
when I go downstairs to my basement,
you see everything? Did you save it all?
I have a little homage. Yeah.
See,
and I wouldn't have done it, but my husband.
Yeah.
And he's like, Sarah, you got all this great stuff.
Yeah.
You got to do something with
now, how long have you two been married now?
So Sunday, I'm sorry, was it Saturday?
Close enough.
Saturday was 10 years.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Been together for 17.
Right.
Yeah.
And now your first husband, Bob, passed away.
Yes.
That was I remember I was with you during those times. And that was really hard.
It was really hard.
And you were such a pro through all of it, Sarah. It never went on the air. You were always so gracious and loving and just who you were. And it really speaks to why I think, knowing you personally, is why I think you were so received so well professionally. Because you can't fake what you did on the air. It was so sincere. You know, a lot of times you hear radio people talk and you're like, that guy's so full of shit. Like he could care less about that song. Everything you said, you just meant it. Like it was a beautiful gift. And I hope that, I hope you carry that with you because you said a lot of things that rung for a lot of people. And I'm really honored. It means
a lot to me.
It means a lot to me. And I want to say this. I came in that radio. Well, I met her at 13. And then over the years as a teenager and young adult, I would see her and I reminded her of the story a couple times. And then we got to know each other. By the time I'm 19, 20, I'm hanging around that station nonstop with Russ and everybody else and Kirk and Stash. Sarah, every time I saw you, you were like, it's weird. I try to explain it. You were like the one person that everyone that worked there looked at and went, well, if we could be like her, we made it. You know what I mean, Matt?
Of course I do. I mean, and
it's the truth, Sarah.
I listened to Sarah since I don't know how old I was when I first heard you on the radio.
Yeah, well, I was 9.
Yeah,
when the first time
and
I
heard. I don't like
Johnny
to tell Sarah that, but she looks younger than I do now.
It's
so
incredible.
It's just, I feel comfortable telling her that.
It is true. Matt looks really old. Look at him. No, I'm kidding, Sarah.
You look the same. You have a gray beard.
He does. That's it. Matt, look, he's got a baby face. Don't listen to him.
Yes, you do. Handsome as ever, both of you.
Sarah,
you never change.
I know. It's just aggravation and resentment keeps you young. But Sarah, let me ask you an honest question. How hard did men hit on you at appearances and stuff? Were you like fighting them off?
You know what? I think I sent out a vibe.
You did have this sort of "don't fuck with me" attitude.
Sarah's got an "I can handle myself" vibe. You know?
But it's so lovely.
Yeah,
that's the thing. What I mean is, like, some women come across as like a boss bitch, and you're like, you just have this thing about you where it's like, "Hi, don't try it."
Yeah.
There's snipers on you right now. Wouldn't you say that's fair, Matt?
Amen.
Yeah, man.
Unless you're a rock star like Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
I think I'd been on the air for a year and he came into our little closet.
Yeah.
Did he really? You interviewed the Nuge?
Oh, I did.
Was he all over you?
I mean, he just took me in his arms and gave me this big kiss and swoon.
Oh my God.
And I thought it was, there's a picture of it.
Well, Sarah, not to make you feel bad, but he did the same thing with me. He gave me a huge kiss.
I thought I was special.
What's your favorite moment in all your whole career? There has to be one where you go, wow, how lucky am I? Or how fortunate, or this is incredible. What's yours? You can give me more than one, but tell me one that stood out for you.
I remember just feeling so grateful, for, and this is during Dave Hill's time.
Yeah.
For the Spring Flings. I mean,
They
who
were-
are we that we got this
I
privilege?
said it every year.
you
I
know?
would sit down there and look around and go, what are we doing?
I know.
We're with an
And-
NFL cheerleading team, doing whatever we want, drinking 24 hours a day, eating what we want.
Hello, we were encouraged to do that.
Oh my God. I used to tell Dave, I'd go, the only thing I've ever let you down on, Dave, is the amount of alcohol I consume, because those guys could drink.
Oh my gosh. Well, I remember being in the Dominican, and Stash and I were out one night.
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Oh
just,
yeah.
Always buddies. always
Stash is
friends.
the king.
He and I are on the beach, and I don't know. We had drank we had mixed stuff,
Too much.
wine and
Yeah.
beer and whatever, champagne. And
Right.
I'm on the beach with him, and we're looking up at the stars, and all of a sudden, we started going around and spinning and spinning.
The stars.
I
there.
was so drunk. And all I could think about was, how am I going to get on the air tomorrow? How am I going to do this? And Stash is like, you're going to be fine. You're going to be
Don't
fine.
worry, dude. I do
Don't
it every
worry.
day.
Don't worry. And I show up the next day. Yeah, right. You're going to be good. You'll be good. You'll be good.
How'd
It's
you-
always the first time.
Right. How'd you feel the next day?
So, Dave Hill didn't care.
Yeah, he could
He
care
looked at
less.
me. It was like,
Just-
high five.
all you gotta
High
do-
five, baby.
That's it. Truck through it, baby.
You're having a good time. He
Yeah.
gave me Alka-Seltzer Plus. Ever since, it's like, that's like the miracle.
Dave was
that's
the great-
hangover.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dave was the greatest cut man in history. If you had a nick, he'd get you right back in the fight,
right. He's like, drink this, you'll be fine.
Those trips were amazing. Who's your favorite interview? If you could think back, Rockstar, that you just went, wow, I'm sitting here talking with this person. Could have been on the phone or in person.
Well, probably Chris Cornell.
Really?
Yeah.
That one hit you, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was a big.
I
Chris
remember that
Cornell
day. I was
fan.
in the studio with you that day, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
That was, when you think about that, I would imagine, obviously at the time, you don't think about how important that interview is going to be.
Exactly.
He's no longer with us, but
Sure.
what did you take from that interview? Like, were you always amazed interviewing rock stars? Like, if you could get them to be a little personal and off the page, what you'd get out
I
of them?
tried not to feel so starstruck.
Right. You were
know,
good at
just-
it, though. Yeah.
Thank you.
You were very good at
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah. You were amazing at it. One of my favorite things, did you ever interview Jimmy Page? Was that you?
No, that
was-
was Stash.
But you
He
did.
went to New York.
Yeah, you did somebody legendary, big, and might have been on the phone. It was a call in, and we all listened, and it was
Could have
just.
been Ozzy.
I
or
think it might have been Ozzy.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah, I mean the guys you've talked to is pretty cool.
Didn't you talk to the Stones as well? I know you met the Stones.
I
but
met the Stones.
yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yes.
What
At
year?
Jack Kent Cooke Stadium. It was the year before Bob died.
Wow.
So it was 2002, October. I was with Colleen, and
The biggest Rolling Stone Mick Jagger fan on planet Earth.
yes,
right,
she
is
even
Colleen
married.
Saru.
Her husband's name is Mick.
Yeah.
Right?
I dodged a bullet. No, I'm kidding, because I'm Mick.
That's right.
I should say she dodged a bullet,
Right.
not me.
Exactly.
She dodged
Yes,
a bullet.
yes. God
Yeah.
love
Love
her.
Colleen.
I love Colleen. So we finally get to meet the Stones.
Yeah.
And the PR person for the record company didn't show up. So, we had to weasel our way in.
Yeah.
And we did. And we get back there, and sure enough, man, they're going to come. They're coming. And they offered us, a drink, and I had a little glass of wine. So did she. And yes, I was so starstruck. They walk in.
Were they small? They're little, aren't they? Were you
Well,
surprised?
Mick's small.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all
oh,
Keith.
yeah,
All of
yeah,
them are
yeah.
tiny guys. Yeah.
Keith smelled like death.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
He did.
Cigarettes, alcohol,
You know,
and no
he got too
showering.
close to me. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
But so long story short, Mick, time to take a picture. It's a couple hot minutes there, and that's it. Let's
Yeah.
take a picture and see you later. Got to get on stage. And so Mick pulls me aside. He goes, "Come here, sweetheart." I'm like,
Oh my God.
really, Mick? And Colleen's like, "You bitch."
So you got a moment
like,
with Mick.
Sorry. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that had to be
I
incredible.
mean, there was no kiss, but he
Right.
put his arm around me.
Oh,
Put
that's a
his arm around my
Mick
waist.
Jagger. How
It's
cool
like,
is
"Come
that?
here, sweetheart." I'm like, yes. Well, I always told Rob Heckman.
Yeah.
I said, I want to meet the Rolling Stones before I die,
And you did.
because
Yeah.
there were a couple of times there. Like, he took one of the new saleswomen backstage to meet the Stones, and I was sitting next to him. I
Yeah.
didn't get to go back.
Wow.
So I looked at him that afterwards, and I said, before I die,
I'm
just
meeting.
know I want to meet the Rolling Stones.
Are they your
So-
favorite band?
Yeah, one of them.
Who would you
I
say?
mean, growing up. when
Who'd
I
you
was-
get excited to play on the air? Who would you be like, yes?
Oh, definitely the Stones.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin.
I know you're a big Beatles fan too, right?
And you know what? That came later, and I have to
Yeah.
give the credit to my late husband, because
Okay.
he was a
My
musician.
son turned me on to the Beatles.
I heard
Isn't
you
that
say
crazy?
that.
It's the
I
truth.
heard you say that.
I
on
liked
the
the
air.
Beatles. They were cool.
I did too, but I mean, to really get into the Beatles
To
and how
dive
they
deep. Oh.
evolved, and in such a short period
7
of time, what they
years
were
they
able
did
to
everything.
accomplish
Right.
and how they evolved. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
I just love the Beatles. I really got
I did
into
too.
it. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, we do a little thing on the show here called Matt's Music Minute. Now, today, Matt, I did not read our title sponsor, and I feel horrible. And that's because I was so excited to talk to Sarah. But I'm going to read them right now, and that is Barnes Paving. The good people at barnespaving.com are incredible. They are MHIC licensed and insured. They're accredited with the Better Business Bureau. No job too big, too small, from patches, residential. Give them a call, BARNES paving.com, or call them at 443-243-3710. Amazing people. It is now time for Matt's Music Minute with the queen of rock and roll, Sarah Fleischer. Let's do it, Matt.
Well, Kanye West's new single is blowing up on Twitter. Do you guys know what it's called?
Zieg Heil, if I could take a guess. What is it called?
It's called Heil Hitler.
Are you serious?
No,
Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
No.
I'm sorry. It's
that's crazy.
can you imagine? I mean,
No.
Sarah, this is nuts.
It is crazy. So Spotify, SoundCloud, and other platforms have banned his new single, but it's still on Twitter or X, where it has already racked up millions of streams.
Yeah.
The artwork for the track, which resembles a swastika, has also received millions of views.
I don't say this often about an artist's expression, right? But when it's just being done out of sheer hate and shock,
Yeah.
you're a dick. You know what
And
I mean?
why is he living in this country?
Yeah, why would you live in a world that's so
Agreed.
horrible against you? Just get out.
Look, I respect his First Amendment right to do what he does.
Of course, I'm not going to tell him he
I,
can't.
I don't think we should shut those people down, because
No,
we want
I
to know
agree.
who those people are.
1,000%. It sucks we got to deal with them,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you're right. You want to keep an eye on them.
right.
So let them keep listen, they always disintegrate themselves.
Yeah.
These moron kind of artists, like I remember back in late 80s, early 90s when that artist did the thing with the crucifix and peed on it and all that stuff. And you're like, okay, it lasts 5 minutes. People go, what an asshole. And then you forget about him.
But do you know what I really wonder about him though? Is does he really feel that way, or is this
I don't
just
think he
mental
knows.
illness?
I think he's mentally ill.
Yeah.
I think next month he's the kind of artist, he could come out in a month and be totally,
Change his tune.
be anti Hamas, pro-Jew.
Yeah.
It's all insanity. You're
Yeah.
just we've gotten to the point, I think, where we allow insane people to make a living being insane.
Right.
We used to say, hey, listen, crazy person, we appreciate it, but we're not buying this shit. And now I just guess we buy it. Where do you hear my next album? Oh, yeah, it's called I'm Sick of Tall People. Everybody that gets on my nerves is taller than me. I'm sick of it, Sarah.
Right.
I'm going to hang out with all 9-year-olds from now on. Oh, my God, just people my own size.
So Metallica has set off the seismograph at their most recent Virginia show. They played a concert.
No, I
at Lane
thought Trujillo
Stadium.
tripped or something. He's getting heavy. You seen him lately?
Robert Trujillo.
He gained a little weight in that last
He's
picture
a
I saw.
stocky boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
He's
played a
good.
concert at Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia on Thursday, the home of the Virginia Tech Hokies. Fans went wild, jumping to the band's hit Enter Sandman, which the Hokies have used as their football team's entrance song since 2000.
Yeah.
The crowd's energy was so strong, it set off a nearby seismograph making it look like a small earthquake, similar to what happens at Hokie games when they use that as an entrance song.
That's
Pretty
insane.
wild. Yeah.
You can set off the earthquake detector. That's
Right.
quite a song.
That's Metallica's. There's not a lot left for them to do anymore.
No,
You know what I mean?
to me,
Except
Metallica has
like what?
reached U2
Play
level.
the moon. Is that what
Right.
they need to do?
Yeah. Yeah. I've gone on record as saying this. I'm interested in what you two think. To me, they're the last supergroup. When I say supergroup, meaning like I can't think of a band since them that is in that iconic Mount Rushmore.
Maybe Foo Fighters.
I
I
was
don't
just
put
gonna
them up
say.
there. I
Yeah.
don't. I
No?
don't. No, I don't. I think they're the only ones left, but I don't think they're in that category. They're great. To me, they're going to be a upper mid-level memory.
Well,
They're not Metallica,
gotta
they're not
say,
AC/DC.
Metallica did kind of start that genre, like that whole thrash
They're
metal
the
genre.
godfathers of it.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did.
So to me, nothing's happened since then.
yeah.
I don't know what you would say. Them and U2 are the last two great, like, iconic bands, I think.
for the rock genre.
I guess you could say Nirvana and Pearl Jam made it.
because you got to include Michael Jackson.
I don't include any of that shit. No.
Definitely.
I'm
Pearl
talking about
Jam.
rock. No, I just mean like rock bands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam, I
Pearl
think
Jam.
probably.
Even Nirvana. I mean,
Well, but I mean, I
they
don't
didn't
get.
last as long.
Yeah,
though.
you
That's the
gotta
problem.
keep
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
for 40
right,
years.
yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Otherwise, is Hendrix always going to be the guy?
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way I see that one.
So there was a dump truck that crashed into the legendary Whiskey A Go Go
I
in West
saw
Hollywood,
this.
California on Friday. You saw the picture of that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dump truck driver plowed into the legendary LA music venue. It was Friday afternoon, just hours before the. You know what the band was that was going to play that night? You know what they were called?
no,
They were called Boy Hits Car.
no, they're not.
Yeah. They were set to take the stage. According to Fox 11 LA, the truck barreled into the power poles and multiple vehicles in the parking lot before smashing into the building itself. No injuries reported. It did cause the cancellation of Friday's show, though.
Can you imagine you wait your whole
That's
life to play
crazy.
the
Oh
whiskey
my
and you can't play it because of a car accident?
Oh, my God. Right.
Sarah, let me ask you this. You said you graduated 69. Do you remember, and I'm not being funny, do you remember like the explosion of rock music? Like, were you cognizant of it when it was happening? When like because this is, let's face it, 68, 69. That's Led Zeppelin. That's the highlight of the.
Zeppelin actually exploded before that.
Is that when it was?
67.
Is that when they? I
Yeah.
thought it's okay. So
a little earlier?
but that it all happened, and it just was like
Yes.
an entire revolution musically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That's.
It
Can you
was.
imagine?
No.
being
Did you
I
see
mean,
Zeppelin on
And,
stage?
you know,
here?
when I was in college,
yeah.
we went and saw the Rolling Stones and
Wow.
Tina Turner.
Those
and
were
Ike and-
the acts you went to see at that
yeah,
age, right?
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
That's incredible. Can you imagine you're 19? What are you doing tonight? Just going to see Zeppelin.
Did you see
I
Zeppelin?
did not.
No.
No?
One of my regrets.
How about The Who?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
saw
love The Who.
And I saw Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
I saw that
together,
too. I
you
saw
know.
that, the Pant and
Saw
Plage
that,
one. Yeah,
yeah.
that was cool.
All right, so Geddy Lee of Rush has narrated a short film as part of the See the Good movement. It's an anti-hate campaign starring global celebrities who promote tolerance among young Canadians. In the 1-minute clip, he talks about the accomplishments of Dr. Nikolai Amosov, who invented the artificial heart valve. Geddy explains how it could have saved his father, Morris Weinrib, who died from a faulty heart valve in 1965. And you can watch the film on YouTube. Gene Simmons also narrated a See the Good film in February.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What was his about? Jeans.
I don't know. We'll have to look
See,
that up.
if knowing Jeans,
Yeah.
see the good. What you'll do is you'll come to my
As long as I
home.
can plug kissonline.com,
You'll
the new
cl-
Kiss merchandise.
Yes, you can now buy at Kiss on. The thing I love about Gene, he always says from Kiss when he says his name.
Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Yeah,
We
every
don't know.
yeah, every time. And he, when asked about it, is the line that he uses to explain it's even better.
Yeah.
It's always important that you're branding yourself.
Well, he did that very well.
70 years
Oh,
later,
he's the king of it.
Yes.
The
he
king
is
of
Yeah.
the master.
Yeah.
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 He
Is
was-
that it, Matt?
That's it for Matt's Music Minute. Yes.
Sarah, that's our music minute. What'd
I
you
love
think?
it. I
Wasn't
love it.
bad, was it?
Yeah, I love it. I've heard it. Listen to you guys.
Sarah, so
I've
let
had
me ask
38 shows. You know,
listen
I've
to this,
listened.
lady. She listens.
I know. Thank you,
I
Sarah.
listen.
When
I'm
you
honored.
told me that earlier, I was blown away
Yeah.
that you listen. I'm thinking, man, if I'm Sarah, I'm not listening to this.
Well, I have to give up my 5.
Yeah,
You know,
you listen. You watch the 5.
I do.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Hell no, I love it. You know, my new favorite person is that little judge lady. Perino. What's her name? Janine Perino.
Well, she's not there anymore.
She left to go run the government now.
She's at the White House.
Yeah, she's running the DC legal stuff. But that little lady's about this big.
Yeah.
And she'll tell anybody to F off.
Absolutely.
She is
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That lady makes me laugh. It's
She's
hilarious.
She's incredible.
Did you enjoy the Preakness infields before when it was crazy?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
It
wild.
was fun until it wasn't fun.
Right. And then it got
you know.
ridiculous.
And we had the stage
Yeah.
for a long time,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, I remember.
And then there was a period where there were no live bands.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yep.
We had to make stuff up like hula hoop contests.
Sarah, I think, and this is like
Yeah.
one of those pointless pieces of trivia that I find for myself to make myself sound important. But I think I'm the only person in the history of Baltimore that emceed, was in a band, and did comedy all in the infield.
Wow. is
I
that
did
right?
all
Wow.
three. So when I was the morning show host, we hosted the infield party,
Sure.
right? I did stand up with Larry the Cable Guy and Raymond the Amish comic. And then I played music with Lost Angels, and we went on then Brian Jack. And I think that was the
Wow.
last time they had the bands, the local bands on the infield.
Yeah. And
Because
that's
it went
what made
crazy.
it great.
Oh, it was
No.
wild.
It's
Yes.
incredible
Yeah.
that we had the stage all those years. Isn't
All
that
of them.
incredible?
All those years.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We owned it.
Yep.
And we did. And those parties were incredible.
Yes.
My
Lot of
favorite
fun.
part was at 8:00 when they opened the gates. And Lopez, for like 3 years in a row, he would say to me, this is when he was still doing the morning show, and I was just a comedian, and Kirk, Mark, and Lopez are doing it. And he said to me every year for like 3 years, he'd go, you know, Mickey, we got to come up with a name for when they open the gates and all these morons come running in, right? And Lopez, by the way, was the only guy I ever saw that could insult you and you felt like he loved you. Like he would say
Yeah.
anything to you. I loved him. But like the third or fourth year, we're sitting there and it's like 10 of 8. And I go, hey, Lopez, I came up with a name. And he's like, what is it? What is it? And I go, wait till they open it. So we're all standing there and they open up the thing and everybody comes running. And I go, it's just like being in Spain. And he looks at me and goes, what? I go, it's the running of the fools. The running of the fools. And he quoted that and used it for years. And I was like, yes,
Awesome.
I made it. Lopez
That is-
used my
I
line.
never heard that story. That's great.
Well, Lopez was very mean to me for a long time because I was I was Russ Motla's little friend.
yeah.
And I don't think he was happy with the morning shows back then before it got to Kirk, Mark, and Lopez. I think he always was kind of you remember. It was
remember.
a little bit of an
I know.
outwheeler.
Oh, yes.
He didn't even like the station. He thought
He
of
didn't.
himself as a serious news
He didn't
person.
like any of us.
He didn't
really.
like anything. And then when he finally got it, it was awesome. But he was mean to me for years. And then one day I came in to do the morning show. And every time I'd come in, I'd be like, oh, God, Lopez is going to be a dick, right? I sit down next to him. It's the first time he had a full gray beard. And I looked at him and he says, hello. And I look, and Kirk's right next to me. And I go, what's up, General Lee? Right. And he goes, what? I go, you look like Robert E. Lee. And he gets this half smirk. And I see him reach over to the phone. He picks up the phone and we're in commercial. He dials the number. And I'm like, who the hell is he calling? And all I hear is this, Trixie, I'm shaving it. Mickey just said I look like Robert E. Lee from the Confederate Army. Click. And I swear to you, from that moment on, we were like blood brothers.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest thing.
It's funny how he could just switch.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then once you're on his good side,
That's
what a
right.
sweet human
It
being.
took him a long time to warm
He
up
was good
me.
to you. He was eventually, I think.
Eventually.
He loved you in the end. Yeah.
One of the nicest things he ever said to me was, we were at, remember how Tina would have those parties?
Oh my God.
Christmas
Those
parties.
Christmas parties are
Yeah.
legendary.
Tina lived in Roland Park.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had bought 2 of the row homes,
Yep.
you know, and knocked down the walls. So she
It
had
was
a fabulous
massive.
place.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And it was like a free for all, you know. You just came to the door. You didn't
You walked in and just started
just walked
partying.
in.
And it was packed.
people-
I mean, you could
people
barely walk.
would walk in
Wall
off
to
the
wall.
street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm standing there at Tina's party, and
Yeah.
Lopez comes up to me and he says, you know, you really are a dinosaur.
What?
And I looked at him and he goes, you just hang around and stay the same. I don't know how you do it.
Oh my God.
That was a compliment
That's
from
a
Lopez.
compliment.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because at first I'm like, I'm a dinosaur.
Yeah.
But he meant it in a nice way.
Oh, he
Yeah.
means that in the nicest way
Right.
possible. He told me point blank, you know, Mickey, this was in Mexico. I got to tell you, For a ninth grade dropout, you're not nearly as dumb as you should be. That's how he worded it. You're not nearly as dumb as you should be.
A ninth grade.
Yeah, that's what he told me. Yeah, for a ninth grade dropout, you're not nearly as dumb as you should be.
I
Thanks,
love Lopez.
He was the greatest.
He called me on the air when he was in the hospital and said just some incredibly nice things to me, man. Touch me. I mean, I love the guy.
I went to see him in the hospital one day, and he really was. The things he said to me, I won't repeat because they were so sincere and kind, and I never want to use them as a "whoa, look at me" moment. Just what an absolute gem of a human being he was at the end. I hate to say it that way,
but he was.
He was incredible.
We actually went to the house.
Yeah,
and he said some things to me.
Yeah,
that
stick with you forever, won't they? Yeah,
because he actually said, I really wasn't there for you when Bob died. And I'm so sorry.
That's a hard thing. Yeah.
There was no emotion from him.
Yeah. I get it. No, he was hard to read.
But the fact that he could say that to me.
Yeah. That's saying something for him. My favorite moment at Tina's party was him, by the way. There's two of them. One, he's sitting on the couch and he's plastered. I think he drank Dewar's. Didn't he drink scotch?
It was Crown.
Was it Crown? I can't remember.
Well,
this night he had a bunch.
Yeah.
And he's sitting on the couch, and I walked in with my ex-wife, Jamie, my kid's mother. And she's a very beautiful woman. And I walked in, and Lopez, he's right in front of me, and he goes, "Mickey," and then he looks at her and he just goes, "Woof."
Oh my God.
He goes, "Woof." And I go, "Lopez, this is Jamie." And then he named her 007. He said she looked like a Bond girl, like that kind of look. So he started calling her, "You'll be 007." And of course, Jamie's like, "What's with that drunk dude on the couch?" I'm like, "That's Lopez." She's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Forget it." Sarah,
he's a looker.
We got to be flies on the wall from some amazing things.
We did.
Baseball games, Ravens football games, concerts. I think back to all that kind of stuff, and we got to watch it from a perched position a lot. When you were up there, did you ever look down at everyone that was enjoying it and think just how lucky we really were? Because I do have some moments where I'm like, wow, I'm a spoiled, rotten little brat right now. And did you have those moments?
Dream job, right?
Yeah, right. Wasn't it?
I mean, we had so many opportunities.
Crazy.
Yeah. That I wouldn't have had otherwise.
How many times did you
they
have?
Sent me to Ireland.
I know.
For 3 years.
Yeah,
I know.
Right.
That was amazing. Did you ever have a time in your career, did this ever happen to you when you say your name innocently and then someone reacts like, "Oh my God, you're that person"? Have you ever had that?
Have I ever had that? Yes.
It's weird, right?
Have,
was that weird for you?
But I normally out in public, I would never say I'm Sarah Fleischer.
Right.
Because that was my maiden name that I kept.
So privately, you used your legal name.
Yes.
You would never say I'm Sarah Fleischer.
No.
Right.
Wow. No, but my friends will say.
Yeah.
Do you know who she is?
Right. Yeah.
Don't you love that?
And then it's like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I knew that voice.
Do you like the nostalgia of what we did, or do you try to hide from it?
No, I don't try to hide from it.
You're proud of it, right?
I'm very proud of it.
Good for you.
When people recognize you and when you look back at what we were
Everything
able to do,
we did.
An amazing career for all of us here, really.
And it's doing what you did, in a day where women did not do it. It was not frowned upon, but I would imagine other women were kind of looking at you like, "What? You talk on the radio?"
It's funny that you should say that, because I do remember early in my career that I felt like women didn't like me.
Of course.
Because their, boyfriends, partners, husbands.
Yeah, they're all at home listening to you at 10 o'clock at night.
And, and then,
of
you
course.
meet them and they're like,
"What's up, baby?"
Hey, I listened to you.
Yeah.
Here's the wife or the partner. And
usually it's
she's
better when the women look like me. That's when it's easier for a woman in radio. Like I worked with Jen Marino, right? Jen Wagner, who started. I'm a huge fan. I mean, I think she's spectacular radio and talented woman. We'd go do events. I mean, she's 21 years old, beautiful. And dudes are falling all over. And I'm always like, "Hey, I'm the funny one. I'm the funny one." But it was amazing, watching. But like you, I mean, a very, very serious, driven woman in radio. Jen accomplished some amazing things
She
in her
did.
career. And you're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's like, I'm so fortunate to have met these women in my life that were so, just formidable at what they did. And Sarah, I hope you understand, like, there's two women, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, three in this market that I really think are legends. And that's you, Colleen, and the country lady. I'm drawing a blank. Lori DeYoung. Yeah, I mean, you three are pioneers in what you did. And so I hope you know that just from some other radio hack like myself, to be able to walk, get out of that studio in the morning, and you were coming in every day. And this, I want to tell you this, I maybe never said this to you. She would come in every day and go, "Oh my God, today," when you said, or Mickey earlier when you were, and I was like, "Wow, you were such a wonderful person to me, Sarah." I'll never forget that. Yeah. You're an absolutely, forget the talent and all that, just a human being. You're one of the greats, Sarah, and I love you. And
I love you guys too.
And thank you for doing this for real. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Matt,
my pleasure.
Can you think back, like, when you and we grew up, we're little 98 Rock dirt balls, right? We had T-shirts and everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you had interaction with Sarah, like as a pro,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember listening to you. I remember my friend Kevin from grade school.
Yeah.
Who was into 98 Rock before I was, and I was hearing your name from him, and got into it when I was in grade school and listened to you all the time throughout my childhood, and then walking in that door and working with you was absolutely surreal.
Guys,
and
my head's getting real big.
It should, lady.
And
it
like
should.
Mickey
It never
said,
did during your career.
The way you treated everybody was
just ridiculous.
It was amazing.
When you go meet the real queen, right? She won't shake your hand or nothing. That bitch,
right.
Sarah hugs you, whatever you need. That's the real queen. Damn right it is.
Yes.
By the way, I don't know if you know this or not. Do you remember the Queen shirt, right?
Yes.
With the Sex Pistols thing. Do you know the story behind that? Do you know how that shirt
is Lori involved?
Of course. Well, Lori made it work.
Yes.
So I think it was Dave Hill or Rick. I don't remember who it was. We're in the office, and I don't know if it was what anniversary it was of yours at the station. Quite longevity. And I was like, we got to do, God Save the Queen shirt. And they all looked at me. And I was making a joke about the Sex Pistols, right? Because and they all looked and they're like, what? And I go, and then I acted like I meant it. Right? I'm like, yeah, we should just do a shirt. It's like God Save the Queen, but for Sarah. And then that shirt, I wore that shirt.
I still have mine.
I would kill for one of those shirts. I lost mine. It was I used to wear it on stage doing comedy all the time. It was like one of my favorite 98 Rock shirts. It might be my favorite 98 Rock shirt.
I have one.
You got one too?
Yeah.
If anybody has one, send it to me. Looking for a large. Looking for a large. That was my favorite shirt, Sarah. I swear.
Holes and all.
Holes and all. It didn't matter. Now, did your girls ever get it? Did they ever care? Or was it annoying for them?
I think Meredith more than Caitlin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was into it more than Caitlin was. I tried.
Meredith's younger,
to
right?
An AC/DC concert when she was 13.
You took Caitlin?
Yeah.
And she didn't dig it.
She's like,
shit's loud, Mom.
I don't really like it, Mom.
Can we go to NSYNC next week or whatever? Yeah.
She liked REM better.
But
that was her style.
Do they know who you are or were?
Yeah.
They get it, right?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Now, I don't know this, so I'm going to ask, do you have grandkids yet?
5.
You have 5 grandkids?
5. So on my husband's side, his oldest son, they have two boys.
Wow.
Lots of boys.
Yeah.
So 6 and 9. And then my daughter, Caitlin, has 3.
How old are they?
Thomas just turned 5. Chloe is 7. And Andrew will be 9 in June. And they were just here.
How do you like being a grandparent?
Oh, I love it. I'm Nene.
Yeah.
Nene?
Nene.
I love
Nene
that name.
That too.
Well, Caitlin
Nene
came up
and
with
Pop.
it because she wanted me to be called Queenie. And I said, honey, they're never going to get Queenie.
Oh,
It's
you're
gonna be-
wrong.
it's gonna
You're
be-
wrong, Sarah.
It's going to be Keenie. And she said, well, then let's call you Nene.
And that is
And
cute.
it stuck. And
But
I love
Queenie would have been, if they would
my
have called
God.
you the
Oh my
queen.
God.
I know.
Oh my
I
God.
love it.
I'm going
But,
to make you an honorary grandparent to one of my, or great, whatever it is, when my kids
And you'll
have
be
kids.
Queenie.
You're going to be
and make
Queenie
them
Sarah.
pronounce the
Queen.
Practice that, right?
I think anybody that walks up to you now should just address you as Queenie. Hi, Queenie.
I love it. I love Queenie.
Are you comfortable with that term, the Queen of Rock and Roll?
Yes.
You dig it?
You know who named me that?
I don't. Was it Russ?
Kirk.
Kirk, the greatest nickname giver on the history of the
Isn't he?
planet.
Yeah.
Don't you forget it, Sarah. I called you
Yeah.
the Queen of Rock and Roll.
Hey, then I will, and there's no doubt that he did, because
He did.
every great nickname that ever stuck with a 98 Rock employee
He's Kirk.
came from Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Wow.
good at it. He nails it.
Didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
Kirk names. I'm trying to think of all the nicknames. Like Carrie, was it Pork Chop? Dietrich?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Pork steak.
Stephanie. What was Stephanie? Drum.
She was
What was her-
Scrappy. right?
Scrappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like he had the best nicknames for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
I love Kirk for that.
I do too.
Um,
Love
you know, when I think back, you know, Kirk, Russ, Stash, Lopez. I mean, the names are amazing. And just to think that somehow one day my name's going to be on the same page with you guys, it really freaks me out, honestly. Take it from a kid that grew up, 10 minutes from here and well, 20 minutes from here, but just listen to that station every day. When you were on the air, I'm playing wiffle ball in my front yard. We got the stereo blasting. You're putting out Hell's Bells. And I'm like, I'm 12 or whatever, I'm 13. And and then it's just so wild to me. Like, it is really wild that when I look back now, 57, and the Queen is sitting on our show.
I still don't feel
He's
like
still
I
around.
was.
Yeah.
I was really part of that. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
bizarre
like-
for me.
Yeah.
You were there the whole time.
You
I
guys
was
were
there the whole time.
Yeah.
That's wild. Is anyone there longer than you? Was anyone? Who would it have been? Maybe
No,
a
there was
BAL
no-
person?
Uh,
Maybe.
some TV people.
But that's it, right?
Yeah,
That's incredible.
That
And you
really
were,
is.
What year did you go 10 to
because
2?
it was 38 years for me. I wanted it to be 40, but my mom wasn't doing well.
I remember,
I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
And we had moved. Wayne
Yeah.
and I had built the house, and the commute was awful. And I just wanted to spend time with Mom, and I could just feel it.
Of
you
course.
know?
Good for you,
It was
Sarah.
like God was talking to me. He was
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've got this time, this
Yeah.
special time to spend with your mom.
yeah.
You should do it.
You know who else adored you was Ed Kiernan. He used to talk about you.
Really?
Yeah, he did. He would, Ed was not very good at like attaboys.
That was our GM at the time.
Yeah, he was the big
Yeah.
boss.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, I always ended up in these talks that I probably had no place in. These people, and maybe they didn't see me because I was so small. They would just talk, and I would be in these conversations around management, and they
Yeah.
would talk freely and for money. Like, they didn't give a shit. Like, I would just hear everything. I'd walk right in his office. Ed would get there at like 5:45 every morning. And in his office, and I'd be in the mornings. I'd just walk right in his office. I've been in there when the show went on the air, and he's like, "Aren't you on?" I'm like, "Shit, I'm running down the hallway." But he did. He spoke of you very highly whenever everybody did.
I think
Sarah.
it was a lot of mutual respect.
Yeah,
you
it
know.
was. It's wild to look back on all of it.
It
It
is.
really- and you
it's
sitting-
a wild ride.
But I can't believe you don't age a day. Like, it's ridiculous.
Guys,
True
you
story.
need to hang out with me more.
Okay, that needs to be said once.
This feels so good.
No, this
Yeah,
is amazing for us. And listen, I when we started this show, I said specifically that I don't think people really express themselves to each other the way they should in life, and they don't take time to tell other people what they mean to them. And it's not always just for the other person. Sometimes it's good for you to say it.
Absolutely.
And that's why I wanted to get you on the show, Sarah, because I don't have a bad memory of you. And we spent years together.
Yeah.
I don't have an argument that I can think of. I don't have a disagreement. You never hurt my feelings. Like, you're just one of the most amazing, kind, talented souls. And I'm blessed having known you. So I just wanted to tell you that live on this show.
That is so kind.
It's the truth.
It
You're
really is.
you're a legend. You're amazing. You're some kind of freak of nature physically. Every guy that was 13 in 1980, believe me, spent time with you, Sarah, or thinking of you. And just to be
I had
so,
a few posters.
but just to think how cool you are on top of all of it. And, you know, I've met other people along the way that had half your talent or a quarter of your legacy that are just complete assholes. So for you being at the Mount Rushmore of what all of us did.
So true, Sarah. Yeah.
Like, honestly, man, you're
Thanks,
just the
guys.
coolest chick I ever met and one of the most talented, amazing radio personalities that this city ever had. So I just wanted to tell you I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for doing this show. And now we are going to do That's the Facts, Matt, because I will get emotional if I keep talking. Sarah, you are a legend. I mean it.
Well, can I just say that I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I really, really do.
We're only
And
doing it because nobody will hire us. Thank you, Sarah.
That means a lot.
No,
Sarah.
it's a
It really
beautiful
does.
thing. And I love listening to you.
Thank you.
I do. And I just think it's so great. You know, this is the future.
No doubt.
And you can say whatever you want.
Trust me, we do. We do.
How free is that?
It's
the
amazing.
freedom feels so
Think
beautiful.
about how many songs you played, and at the end of it, you wanted to go, "Oh, that's a piece of shit song."
I mean, it's true. You know, like why are we playing this song
Yeah.
again?
Now, I have to ask you this because I get asked about it a lot, and I just want to know from you. I did a bit one time, and I want to know if it was original or I stole this idea or somebody else did it and I didn't know. Dave used to yell at me when we were doing afternoons that I was talking too much. He wanted me to play more music. So one day I got pissed off at him and I just started talking along and he called the hotline. He's like playing music. So what I did was I took all the microphones. I don't know if you remember this. And I panned them all to the left side and I took the music and panned it to the right. And then I said to anybody in your car, just if you want to listen to the song, pan it to the right. And if you want to listen to us, pan it to the left. And I had two things going on. Well, here was the problem. Dave's stereo in his office
Yeah.
couldn't separate.
Right. So I was going to say, how many people can do that?
Construction workers were freaking out because I'm having a conversation with Amelia Scott and Josh or whoever it was, and then what do you call it? The music's on the other channel. But like, had you ever heard anybody do that?
No.
All right, Matt,
You're
got
You're
one.
so innovative.
I got one. The Queen told me.
Anybody else would have been fired, by the way.
Want to remind everybody it is time for That's the Facts, Matt, brought to us by Barnes Paving, MHIC licensed and insured. Tomorrow is the official start, by the way, of Natalie's Seafood Kitchen, added as a
thank you,
sponsor.
Natalie's.
So, Sarah, we're getting
Yay.
sponsors. We're almost like a real
I
station.
know you are.
Two more sponsors, Matt.
And soon to be on YouTube.
We're on.
Yeah.
We're on. Soon we'll be making money on YouTube. We got to get a couple more subscribers, then we get paid. So we'll talk about all that at the end. But Barnes Paving, BARNES paving.com. Give them a call, 443-243-3710. Make sure you mention Mickey Talks to get 10% off at Barnes Paving and let them help you with all your paving and asphalt needs. It is now time with Sarah to do That's the Facts, Matt. What do we got,
I don't
buddy?
know if you guys heard, but our country is sinking. A new study is showing that the country's biggest cities are sinking, and it's not just the ones that are on the coast either. Researchers who conducted the study say that massive ongoing groundwater extraction in major cities is causing land subsidence or sinking.
Yeah, of course.
In every city studied, at least 20% of the urban area was sinking, and in 25 of the 28 cities, at least 65% is sinking, which will have an impact on the structural integrity of buildings, roads, bridges, and dams.
I'm going to have nightmares.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah,
yeah.
here's the good news. Honestly, I do a lot of this kind of doomsday reading, like the planet and stuff. Most of it seems to be about 40, 50 years from now. So none of us really have to worry. Our kids and grandkids
I'm
might
worried
live.
about my kids and my grandkids.
Screw them.
Right.
You're not going to be here, Sarah. And there's nothing you can do. Just let
It
it
is
try.
out of my control.
Yeah, nothing you can do. The sinkholes aren't your fault, hon.
We'll get them all to move out of the city. You know,
Yeah, that's
what
it.
we'll encourage them to do.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Yeah. So, Mick, I know we're looking for more sponsors. Maybe we found the answer here.
All right.
Bill Gates has announced that he plans to give away all of his money
Yeah.
and end the Gates Foundation. He plans to give away, quote, virtually all of his money within 20 years, and he will shut down the Gates Foundation in 2045. The Microsoft co-founder said people will say a lot of things about him when he dies, but he's determined that he died rich won't be one of them. So the Gates Foundation has given away over $100 billion since it was founded. He's got about, I think it's $200 billion.
And he's giving it all away.
I think Mickey Talks would be a good investment.
He should.
Yeah, he
give
should.
it away.
Although I saw a quote from his son after he made that announcement. And I don't know if you saw what his son said.
No.
What a dick. Giving all that money away. I'll take some of it, Dad.
Yeah.
Listen, Warren Buffett is the guy that has the greatest quote. He goes, once you get $1 billion, give the rest away.
Yeah.
What do you need any more than $1 billion?
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
I mean, once you have $1
You
billion,
could do a lot of good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Once you have $1 billion, is pretty much everything is free.
Yeah, what do you
Essentially, it's
do
the
at that point?
equivalent of that, right?
You think a billionaire ever says this? I don't have any cash. Like,
I wonder how much it costs. How
oh,
much does it
sorry,
cost?
I can't golf, guys. I left my wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it? That's the real one.
Yeah.
What do they never say? How much is that?
Yeah. Never.
Unless they're looking at a country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's some freaky news, regarding AI. The UK reportedly is creating murder prediction algorithms.
What?
So if you saw the 2002 sci-fi action film called Minority Report, I didn't see it.
I saw half
did
of
you
it.
See it?
Yeah, half of it.
So the fictional story is how the government's ability to arrest people for future crimes is predicted by precogs who are able to see murders before they happened. Well, now, through the use of AI algorithms, that same path is being explored in the UK.
I'm not going to lie, Matt,
Yeah.
Sarah. I don't know how you feel. I'm scared. This AI stuff, it's
scary.
weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
We're not even thinking anymore. We don't have to think. They've taken thinking away from us. I mean, when you really think about it, when I'd look at my kids now, right? And I'm just saying 18, 21, 22. When I was that age, if I wanted to learn something, right, or know something, I had to ask questions. I had to look in a book.
You went to the library.
I went to the library. I did. Now, it's a joke in our house now. Somebody will ask something, and I say, if only there was a
Siri.
device that we had
Right.
that we could talk to, and it would tell us the answer.
Yeah.
And it's scary. Like, everything that everyone
is.
knows is on your phone. So all of the wisdom in the world is in your phone, all of it. And that to me is frightening. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, it's frightening
weird.
how much it's going to be a part ingrained into everything we do. I mean, almost already. But, but for 10 years from now, forget about it.
I just hope that AI creates a way.
The question is who controls all that.
Right. That's the weird. I'm hoping they create a show like us, but we get the money, but they just do it. Like, that would be fun. If they can master
like
that.
a Max Hedron, Mickey
Yes.
and Matt.
Yes, Mickey and Matt.
Max
but
Hedron
AI
style.
does it. Somehow they know what I'm going to say, all the dumb things that I want to say. They say it, and then the money just shows up in my bank because
That would be beautiful.
Right, the AI doesn't need the money, does it?
No.
So they do the work. They appear to like working every
Unless
time
they
you ask.
become greedy.
Yeah, then they will.
You
Did you
know?
see the one last
Or they
week?
become sentient.
Did you
know?
see the one last week, Sarah, that beat up the people? I'm not making this up. A robot. We talked about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. it
The
flipped
China
out.
in the Chinese plant, they were messing with it, and it started beating them up, like hit them, kicking them.
It was some kind of malfunction, but the thing was swinging and coming at people, and the one guy had to just essentially unplug it to stop it.
Who knew that
So-
Terminator?
Yeah,
Wow.
Who knew
Yes,
that Terminator
right.
was the actual predictor of the
Ooh,
future?
right.
That's where we're heading, buddy.
And well, there's evil in the world.
Of course
We all
there
know
is.
that.
Yeah,
So
that's who's doing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Of
Yep.
it. Because AI could do a lot of good.
It could do any.
Well,
It could
yeah.
fix every problem overnight.
Well, we might not have to work in the future. There could be. It
Yeah,
could do
but
away
think
with
about
things
that.
like profit, but
Okay.
then it'll come down to control.
All right, so let's
Right?
be honest.
Yeah.
Matt Davis, Sarah, Mickey, we're 18 years old, and they go, "Okay, guys, you don't have to
We
work."
don't have to work anymore.
But these robots do everything. So enjoy yourselves, and we'll give you some money and have fun.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
You wouldn't last 2 years. You'd kill yourself.
Or the meteor comes and strikes, and then all of a sudden, AI doesn't work, and the robots are.
That's
and,
why-
and
right.
Then what do you do?
Well, I told my
Nobody
kids-
knows how to do anything.
I told both my boys, learn how to use a hammer and a screwdriver because if shit goes down, they will matter.
Yeah.
We're going to have to fix stuff.
Well, you're going to have to learn how to go out and hunt for your food again, and who knows how to churn butter?
I just see, I've been prepping for this for years.
Yeah.
Matt, I just made friends with all them hillbilly kind of guys that were fans. right? All them rednecky truck gun having dudes that know how to hunt and skin animals.
Yeah.
They're my buddies.
Right.
So
Ted Nugent.
Yeah, Ted.
Exactly.
Yeah, terrible
Used
Ted.
every part of the animal.
Every
right?
part.
Every part.
Take them bones. You can make
Total
bookshelves
respect.
out of them. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
So the AI is going into all kinds of different crazy areas here. There are now wearable patches that will let you feel the virtual world. Okay, so
What?
this will always be used for wholesome purposes, I'm sure. Researchers at Northwestern University have created a new super thin wearable device called a haptic patch that lets you feel touch in virtual reality or
No.
in other digital settings.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
That's creepy.
I know.
That is
Wait
creepy.
till the penis patch comes out. You'll never see a man again. That's when women will rule.
Just
Earth.
cut them off.
Yeah, just the penis patch comes out and you can feel things on it. Look out, ladies, the world is yours. Have at it. Just keep me stocked on penis patches and Diet Cokes. You'll never hear from me again.
The little dial. How do you like it?
Yeah, this is weird, man. Unlike older bulky haptic devices, this one is soft and moves with your body, making it comfy to wear. It uses tiny electronic parts controlled by a smartphone to make precise sensations like feeling a virtual object's texture.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be installed in VR games soon, apparently, is what they're saying.
That's insane. I'm telling you, you know what's coming, right? I mean, you know what's coming.
Tell me.
I mean, look, the virtual reality sex is what's going to change the world. Once you can physically engage with a robot or some kind of AI, I mean, society is going to go dark.
You think? I have no interest in that. Do you?
We're 57.
No.
Think about when you're 18 and that thing is alive 17 hours a day. And it's all you think about. And all you got to do is put a headset on and a controller.
Oh, it's temporary.
Are you kidding? I'll take it. I think we're
Well,
going.
look, if it helps people not be lonely, that's
a
good
great
thing.
part.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
blow up dolls
Yeah.
too.
Yes. In fact, mine's called Queenie. No,
Cut off her
I
head.
could not resist.
Oh, my God.
I could not resist. I love you so much, Sarah. I'm so sorry.
Here's
okay.
Here's some more AI stuff for you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Scientists are now saying that new AI can translate what chickens are saying. All right.
I've always wondered.
Yes. A team of researchers in Japan claims to have figured out a way to translate the clucking of chickens with the use of artificial intelligence. The team's led by University of Tokyo. The professor came up with a system capable of interpreting various emotional states in chickens, including hunger, fear, anger, contentment, excitement, and distress. They say the technique is rooted in complex mathematical algorithms, and it only gets better at deciphering chicken vocalizations over the time. So it learns.
Sarah, Matt, I don't know how you guys
Yeah.
feel, but this is the most
That's crazy.
It's the most advanced, or the biggest advancement civilization has ever made is artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And we're talking to goddamn chickens with it.
Why?
Right?
Why?
Why are we talking to chickens?
Look, I got it on Rosetta Stone at home, okay?
At Rosetta Stone, you're chicken talking. That chicken book, I never got that edition. I tried to learn that dumbass Italian. I should have talked chicken the whole time.
Exactly.
That's hilarious.
You want the ladies? Learn to cluck.
Learn to cluck. We got anything
Cluck
else, buddy?
this.
Let's do one more with the queen.
All right, you guys want to hear about the
We'll let the queen decide.
the Amazon driver who gets sacked for pooping and peeing on a customer's property, or do you want to hear about a family who got a giant payday after a dine and dash mistake?
Oh, I like the payday.
Let's do the
All right,
payday.
let's talk about the payday here.
All right.
So last year, Peter and Ann McGirt took their kids for a lovely meal at the Horse and Jockey Pub in the Peak District of the UK. They forked over about $200 for their dining experience. They left with no knowledge of the drama they were about to be hammered with. Management at the pub falsely believed the family had pulled the old dine and dash and promptly took to social media to call them out and shame them. And when the real issue was an inexperienced staff member who neglected to put their payment in the till, the family sued after bad press affected the family's reputation and that of their McGurr engineering business as well. And so they offered them a free meal and an apology. That wasn't enough, obviously, after basically ruining their business. So they filed a lawsuit and won. The family cashed in to the tune of $93,000, which will, buy lots more meals at restaurants. Probably not that one.
I want to tell any server listening right now, if I come in and I pay my check and I tip, and then you wink, wink, forget to ring it up, feel free to expose the hell out of me. I'll split whatever I win in the lawsuit with you. Let's be a team here and make this work, kids. Sarah, let me ask you, I don't know if I should say this on the air. Your husband, Bob, was an attorney, right?
He was.
Yeah. So have you ever been in a situation where you think I could sue somebody and get a lot of money? Have you ever been in that situation? Nothing's ever happened?
I could have,
and you didn't.
There was actually a station event, which you probably never heard about. Do you remember Harley? He was a contortionist.
I do remember.
Yes.
Okay, and do you remember he came to the station and he would perform? And, Okay, so one time we were in Towson.
Sideshow guy for people that don't know.
Yeah. We were at the Sheraton, and he was performing, and I went to support the morning show and perform my show, and it wasn't that far out of the way.
Sure.
I'm there, and he, we had chatted before, and so he knew me, and he said, "Sarah, come here. Would you, join me in this little routine?"
Yeah.
He fell on me. Yeah.
Really?
And I walked. I was kind of embarrassed.
Sure.
But I walked out. My knee was shaking.
Ouch.
Yeah. And as it turns
what
out,
was the stunt? I'm just curious.
I don't remember, but he was a contortionist.
Yeah. And he fell and he hurt your knee.
He fell on me.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
My right knee. So Bob, my husband, being the attorney that he
right,
was, he said, "Sarah, you really ought to collect workman's comp." And I just
couldn't bring yourself to do it.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. And I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
Still, because I had to I had arthroscopic surgery.
Jeez.
I was in a play at the time. The kids and I would do these shows in the summer at open space.
Yeah.
And I was actually on stage, and I changed my character, and I made her older, and I had a cane.
What an actor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All the way back to the beginning.
It was cool,
to fit
right?
reality.
Yeah.
But now I learn that my right leg is shorter than my left leg.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I went to.
Here's a weird
PT,
thing.
and
Both
that's
of
what
my
they told me.
legs
No
are
kidding.
shorter than your legs.
Put together.
Yeah, if I stack them up. Well, Sarah, listen.
It's been great.
Matt and I have talked about this show since you said yes privately. We were both truly so excited.
I'm so touched.
It is really, I mean, for radio geeks, guys that have been in this business, you're a legend. And so for you to be so calm and cool and show up here, and you've always treated, and I know we are friends. It's still hard for me to get in my head sometimes though, Sarah.
It was so easy because we're friends. I've known you guys so long, and you're just so comfortable to be around.
Oh, you're the best. Yeah.
It's not like, I was going to come here and, you were going to roast me.
Wait till the next one.
Oh, did you talk about that? A roast?
It's funny. I think about people I could never roast. I don't think I could roast Sarah.
I don't think you could.
I don't think you could.
You better not.
I would never.
I might cry.
That's the thing. Well, Sarah,
I would cry.
I would cry, yeah. Sarah, and I'm going to give Matt a chance too here. I've said most of the things I wanted to say to you. You really were an incredible thing for me to be able to latch onto at that station, because honestly, when I was doing mornings there, I never really felt like I deserved to be there because I never did radio. My whole story and how it all happened.
You're a natural.
Well, but it's weird when these people have worked their whole lives at something, and then I kind of showed up with a bag of cotton candy and was like, "Aren't I cute? Let me take over." But you just treated me like I belonged there from day one. You always
deserved it.
That's so
No,
weird
you
for you to
did.
say. Thank you,
No,
Sarah.
you
I'm going
totally
to
did.
stop because
Okay.
I'll start pleasuring myself if I keep going, and that'll be awkward. Matt, if you want to say anything to the queen.
I mean, Mickey said it all, but I mean,
thanks,
you and Laurie always had my back over there, and I've always
Yeah,
appreciated that.
yes,
So
yes.
The women
we
kept
both
that
love very
station
much.
together.
You know,
The
lot of
women
love.
kept that station together. So
Yeah,
all you
it's true.
jock sniffing dorks over there that think you're the shit, that station is what it is because of great women like yourself, Sarah.
Exactly.
So thank you, and I love you. And you have a
Thank
green door
you,
here.
and
Anytime you
that's
want to come,
awesome.
anytime. I'll cancel anybody that's
If I
on the
could take
show.
a helicopter here, I'd be here every day.
We'll bring the show to your house. Are you kidding?
Exactly. Yeah.
Sarah Fleischer.
I love your heart and I love your passion,
Thank you.
and your show's gonna make it
Ah,
big
That's a lot,
time.
Sarah.
that's from the queen
I love it.
herself.
No.
I know. Unbelievable.
It's I love it. I love that you're
Thank
doing
you.
this.
Thank you,
I
Sarah.
Thank
just
you,
love
Sarah.
it. I really
Yeah.
do.
And leave Sarah alone on social media. She hates all of you. I'm kidding.
No, I'm just a bad friend. I'm a bad Facebook friend. I really am. I'm the worst. I'm terrible.
I love you, Sarah Fleischer. You
I
are a
love you
legend.
too.
We will see everybody tomorrow. And Matt, I've been saying it for 3 days. Tomorrow, we talk about the comedy club. I'm getting in, Matt. You
Hammer
got to make
jokes.
it a
news.
Hammer
news story.
jokes.
Hammer
Hammer
jokes.
jokes. I
Sarah's
got it.
paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
It's all like
Yeah.
on the way. Everybody, thank you, Matt. How do they find us?
You want to subscribe to us on YouTube. And the reason you want to do that, I want to make it clear because we're not going to be on Facebook forever if that's where you're watching. So please go to youtube.com/@Mickey Talks Pod.
Yeah.
Subscribe there. That's where we're going to live. And then, of course, you can find us on any of the major podcast platforms as well now.
Matt Davis, thank you. I am Mickey. That is the Queen. Show her one more time, please, Matt, because wouldn't they much rather look at that face than
Of
you or I?
course.
Sarah Fleischer, thank you so much. You will be back,
Mwah.
and we're going to do a
Mwah.
big 100th show, and I want you on it. I'll
I'll be
explain.
there.
We're
I'll
going to
be
do a
there.
big live show for our
Oh,
100th.
awesome.
And I'm gonna
We
have
need
my-
more microphones.
Don't worry. We're going to be live somewhere. It's going to be
Awesome.
wild. It's going to be like a concert. It's going to be
I
awesome
can't wait.
because we are up to dozens of listeners now.
Yay!
I love you. I'll
Love
see
you
everybody
too.
tomorrow at 5. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Thanks.